She sat alone in the corner of the cafe, fingers nervously twisting the strap of her small purse, eyes lowered as if the tiled floor could somehow hide her from the world. Her dark hair fell forward like a curtain, and she kept pushing it behind her ear, only for it to fall again, each time revealing her small silver hearing aid, not that it helped her much. She couldn't hear the soft jazz playing, couldn't hear the barista calling names, couldn't hear the loud couple arguing 2 tables away. But she could feel. She always felt everything too deeply. I was sitting 2 tables behind her, pretending to read a book I had no intention of finishing. Her blind date was already 25 minutes late. She checked her phone again, typed something, waited, typed again, waited. Her lips trembled when she blinked too fast, trying not to let the disappointment show. Finally, her phone buzzed. She read the message. Her breath hitched. She covered her mouth. And in that second, I saw her heart break without a single sound. Her date had canceled. Not just canceled, rejected her. Because she was deaf. I saw her shoulders collapse, her chin fall, her fingers tighten on her phone until her knuckles turned white. She wasn't crying, not yet, but she was close. Tears were pooling in her eyes the way rain gathers on a window right before it falls. I didn't even realize I had stood up. Before I could think, I walked to her table. She looked up, startled, wiping her eyes quickly and forcing a small, polite smile even through the pain. I signed a simple greeting, nothing fancy, just "Hi, are you okay?" Her expression changed immediately. Surprise, relief, confusion. She stared at my hands, then at my face. "You sign," she mouthed silently. I nodded. She swallowed hard, her whole body trying not to fall apart again. I pointed at the empty seat. She hesitated only a moment before nodding softly. I sat down and signed. "I saw your date didn't show. I'm really sorry." She looked down as if ashamed of being seen like this. Then she signed one sentence that almost broke me. "He found out I'm deaf. He said it would make marriage difficult." I didn't even think. The words slipped out of me, slowly, clearly, the kind she could read from my lips. "You'll make a different kind of wife." She blinked, confused. So I repeated, slower this time. "You'll make a different kind of wife, the kind a man would be lucky to earn." Her eyes widened, glistened, then softened in disbelief. Her fingers trembled as she signed. "Why would you say that? You don't even know me." I shook my head. "I didn't need to know you to recognize your worth. The problem wasn't you. It was him. A man who rejects a woman because she can't hear doesn't deserve her in the first place." Her breath hitched again, but this time, not from sadness. From something gentler. Something like hope. We talked for hours. Well, she signed and I signed back, sometimes writing when we needed more words. She told me her name was Arya. She laughed silently, but her whole face lit up when she did. She smiled shyly whenever I complimented her handwriting. She blushed when I told her her eyes sparkled when she signed about things she loved. When she told me she had stopped going on dates because most men treated her like she was fragile or inconvenient, something inside me tightened painfully. "You're not inconvenient," I said softly. "You're extraordinary." Her cheeks warmed, she signed. "Why are you being so kind to me?" I didn't answer immediately. I looked at her, the way she tucked her hair behind her ear, the way her fingers moved gracefully when she signed, the way her eyes searched mine like she was trying to understand something new. Finally, I signed. "Because you deserve someone who sees you, and I see you." She looked away quickly, fighting a shy smile she couldn't hide. We ended up leaving the cafe together. Outside, the evening breeze was cool, and a light drizzle sprinkled the pavement. She held her hands out to feel the drops, smiling to herself. We walked side by side, and she kept glancing at me, soft, wondering glances that made my heart beat strangely fast. When we reached her building, she hesitated before signing. Today was horrible until you came." I smiled. "I didn't come," I said quietly. "I just didn't walk away." She stared at me, long, intense, silent. Then she stepped closer and signed something slowly, like she was afraid of crossing a line. "Would you like to meet again?" My breath caught. I nodded. "Tomorrow, same time." She nodded too, cheeks pink. Before she went inside, she touched my wrist lightly, a small gesture, gentle, but it sent a shiver through me. "Thank you," she signed, "for seeing me." When she closed her door behind her, I stood there for a long time, replaying every moment in my head. The next day turned into the next week. The week turned into a month into something deeper, something tender, something neither of us expected. Every time she smiled at me, something healed in her. Every time she laughed silently in my arms, something healed in me too. Because love doesn't always need sound. Sometimes the quietest hearts speak the loudest. The next day, when I arrived at the cafe, she was already there, sitting in the same corner seat, hands wrapped around a cup of tea, eyes drifting to the door every few seconds. But when she saw me come in, something happened to her. The tension in her shoulders loosened. Her eyes brightened in a way that felt like a silent greeting, and she stood up before I even reached the table. She signed, "You came." And I signed back, I said I would. I keep promises. Her cheeks grew warm again. She blushed a lot, and I liked it more than I should have. We spent hours talking again. She told me about her childhood, how she lost her hearing around the age of 10 because of a sudden illness. She told me about losing friends who didn't know how to talk to a girl who couldn't hear. She showed me old photos on her phone, her little dog, her sketchbook, a tree she used to sit under as a kid. When she told me, she used to place her hand on the trunk of the tree just to feel the wind move through its branches. I almost told her right then how beautiful she was. But I didn't. Not yet. After that day, our meetings became a routine without either of us officially agreeing to it. She would message me with short texts that made my heart skip. "Coffee. Walk. Park. Are you free?" She started to open up more. One evening, while we walked through the quiet park path, she reached for my hand without looking at me. Her fingers slid between mine like she'd been waiting weeks to do it. When I looked at her, she was blushing, pretending to focus on a dog running across the grass. I squeezed her hand gently. She squeezed back. That was the night everything changed. As we walked, the streetlights flickered through the trees, casting soft shadows. She stopped by the small fountain, letting the vibrations of the flowing water travel through the stone to her hands. She loved anything she could feel instead of hear. It was her private way of experiencing the world. She turned to me and signed slowly. "Do you think I'm difficult to be with?" I stepped closer, not letting go of her hand. "What makes you ask that?" I said clearly. She looked away. "People say it. My cousin told me any man who dates me will have a hard life. She said communication is too hard, that I need too much understanding." My chest tightened painfully. I gently lifted her chin so she would look at me. "You deserve someone who wants to understand you." She swallowed hard and signed. "Do you?" I didn't answer in sign. I leaned forward slowly, giving her time to pull away. She didn't. Her breath trembled, and I kissed her. A soft kiss, careful, slow, the kind meant to tell her she mattered, that she was wanted, that she was enough. Her hands rose timidly to my chest, then to my face, her fingers tracing my jaw as if trying to memorize the shape of me. When we pulled back, she looked stunned, eyes wide, lips parted, cheeks pink. Then she touched her fingertips to her lips and whispered, barely audible, "I felt that." I smiled and brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. "I hope you did." After that night, everything between us deepened. She would stand closer. She would look at me longer. She would send me texts like I liked yesterday and you make me feel safe. But love, real love, always meets its first storm. The storm arrived in the form of her mother. One Sunday, she invited me to her home. Just tea, she had signed, but her eyes betrayed her excitement. I bought flowers, practiced what I was going to say, and even rehearsed signing properly so I wouldn't mess anything up. But when I stepped inside, her mother looked at me with sharp suspicion. She crossed her arms and said aloud, slowly and loudly, as if volume mattered more than respect, "So you're the boy." Arya stiffened beside me. She signed rapidly, correcting and scolding her mother, but her mother only narrowed her eyes at me. "Why are you with my daughter?" she asked bluntly. "She needs someone patient, responsible, someone who knows what he's doing." I felt the words hit me, but I kept calm. Arya's hands trembled as she signed furiously, "Stop, Mom. Please stop." But her mother didn't. "Most boys leave," she said. "They get tired, they can't handle her world. Do you have any idea what she needs?" Arya's face fell like someone had broken something inside her. I stepped forward slowly, gently lowering my hand so Arya could see me speak. "I know exactly what she needs," I said. Her mother raised an eyebrow as if challenging me. "She needs someone who sees her," I continued softly. "Someone who isn't intimidated by silence. Someone who learns her language because they want to, not because they have to. Someone who understands that love doesn't need ears to be real." Arya's mother looked taken aback. "But Arya..." Arya stared at me like the world had just shifted under her feet. Her lips trembled, and she whispered, barely shaping the words even though no sound came out. "You meant that?" I nodded. She stepped forward and hugged me, right there in front of her mother, burying her face in my chest, gripping my shirt tightly like she never wanted to let go. That moment changed something in her mother. I saw it. The hardness in her face softened. The suspicion faded. A silent understanding grew in its place. She sighed. "Maybe she finally found someone who sees her worth," she said quietly. After that day, Arya clung to me more deeply. She would hold my hand in public, rest her head on my shoulder on the bus, text me late at night just to say "I miss you." One evening, she sat beside me on a bench overlooking the quiet river. Lights shimmered on the water and the breeze made her hair dance around her face. She looked nervous, really nervous. She pulled out her notebook and wrote slowly, carefully, her handwriting small and delicate. "Sometimes I wonder if God took my hearing, just so I would feel the world differently." Then she wrote another line beneath it. "And maybe so I could see people's hearts more clearly." She paused, breathing deeply, then wrote the last line. "Your heart is the clearest thing I've ever seen." My chest tightened. I bit the inside of my cheek to hold back the emotion surging inside me. She looked up at me timidly, waiting, scared of how I might react. I took the notebook. Wrote only one sentence. "I love you, Arya." She froze. Then her hands flew to her mouth. Tears welled up instantly, silent, overflowing tears that carried every insecurity she'd ever lived with. She shook her head like she couldn't believe someone had said those words to her. Then she signed. "Say it again." I lifted her chin gently and whispered it clearly, slowly, so she could read every breath of it. "I love you." She crashed into my arms, shaking with silent sobs as she buried her face into my neck. I held her tightly, kissing her hair, whispering again and again, "I love you, I love you, I love you." That night she didn't want to go home. She didn't want the moment to end. She held my hand the entire walk back, fingers trembling with joy. And when she reached her door, she didn't go inside. She stood there, staring at me for a long time. Then she signed slowly. "Would you like to come in?" My breath caught. Not for anything physical. Not for desire, not for heat, for closeness, for comfort, for the kind of quiet where two hearts can finally rest. I nodded. She smiled softly, shy, hopeful, vulnerable, and opened the door.